So this is just a fun little project I did this past week. I've been trying to kind of branch out. I'm such a fan of neutral colors, especially when I'm working with encaustic, and I've really been trying to kind of branch out and work with more in different colors. And so this was an experiment to kind of see if I could create a galaxy type of painting. I see these portraits and these paintings all over the place of people doing nebulas and supernovas and galaxies, and they just look so amazing. And so I wanted to see if I could kind of recreate that with encaustic by blending some colors together in specific ways. And it was kind of an experiment. I wasn't sure what would work and what wouldn't. So I started with black because, space, and left some open spots in the center for the colors. And I think that worked pretty well, although if for my next piece I actually reversed it. So I put down the colors first and then the black. Um, because I noticed that the black really, it sticks to the wood, and I had to do kind of a lot of layers to overcome some of the harsh brush lines in the background. You can still kind of see them in that first layer as I'm fusing. But it honestly, the more layers you do and the more you move the wax around, the less important that becomes. And you can notice I'm using a torch as well as a heat gun. And the torch I like for fusing because it really helps it go quicker and you get a really smooth surface. But the heat gun is great for moving the wax around because it actually blows air onto the surface while it heats it. So it really works to move wherever you want the wax to be on the surface. So you can see the wax is just completely melting, becoming liquid, and then I'm moving it around with the air from the heat gun. And there is a pretty cool effect. You can kind of see it, especially up at the top with the black. It kind of breaks up almost into cells a little bit, and some of the color from underneath is able to kind of show through. So doing multiple layers of alternating between the black and the colors, the different colors, really kind of helps to bring a depth to those colors. I'm not sure white was the right choice right here. I maybe should have gone with a little yellow. Blending with the blue definitely helped to kind of mute it a little bit. And now I wanted to layer in some shellac. So I'm using metallic colors, gold and silver. Of course, I always have problems with these bottles. They never seem to cooperate when I try to squeeze them into the shellac. These are alcohol inks, and they work perfectly with shellac because they're both alcohol based. You don't want to add any ink or any other water-based inks to this. The only other thing that I know of at this point that works well to pigment shellac is dry pigments, so powder pigments. But because I am doing metallic colors, I have metallic colored India or alcohol inks, so that's what I was using. Now my colors are fairly opaque, so I'm using those over top of the shellac burn before I add another layer. And that works well to blend with the rest of the painting. I am letting the shellac completely dry before I burn it with my torch. That works best to get these cells. And it was also kind of an experiment too, because this shellac is getting a little too old. It's about, I mixed it about 3 months ago. So um, I can tell that there's a difference. Like I'm not getting as great of cells as I normally do, but it's still giving me some fairly good results. Now this, I cannot decide if this was a mistake or not. This is essentially clear, but it's pigmented with just a little bit of white to try to overcome the yellowish hue that clear encaustic medium usually has. And so I decided to use that over this next layer, but it's really showing up more than I thought it would against the black background. So, I'm fusing it with my torch, and then I'm blowing it around to kind of disguise those brush lines that are really standing out. And it does still kind of look like a nebula, but I think it is too distracting, and I think it covers a little too much of the layers beneath it. Like you can't see them as well since I use this clear this clear slash white encaustic medium. So so I think it was a mistake to do it, just because I didn't want to obscure those layers as much as they're hidden now. But adding the shellac on top as a final layer was definitely helps. And it's just a simple project, just blowing colors around, blending them together in the ways that I want, and layering some shellac in there. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to hit subscribe. And I have a second part to this experiment coming up soon. So stay tuned for that.